look good. Make it look good.
All right. Commercial Radio Show with Dr. Ed Gray. Hey, we making it look good. You know, you got the music that's already playing. It's from Dr. Janelle Gray. I produce the artist. I didn't produce the music. But hey, I'm just that cold. The best radio podcast from Como to the Congo. And now you know. If you're part of Fort Worth, like some people we know, they know where Como's at. And if you're part of the world, you should know where the Congo's at. And if you don't know, you need to ask somebody. Hey, this has been a great week. We're here with Dr. Angela Lucky Vaughn here. What's going on?
I tell you, it's always just a great feeling to be in the presence of the dynamic Dr. Ed Gray. It's hot here in Texas. It's hot here in Texas. And I want to pop in on you today and present something to you.
Okay.
From the Grand Prairie NAACP. And before I present it, I just want to let everyone know that Ed's been out there. He's been out there, what I say, in the streets. He's been out in the streets for a long time, just paving the way for many people that's really sitting good and sitting high right now. You know, we always have to have individuals that paved the way, and sometimes people, when they sitting high, a lot of times don't know the history, don't know why they get to sit where they're sitting. But I haven't forgot. I know that Dr. Gray here, you served as commissioner for the city of Grand Prairie. You have paved the way for many people to sit in positions and also sit in elected official positions. And I just think that we got to give back. We have to pause for a moment, and we have to recognize the trendsetters. And so I came by today. We have a plaque for you. The Secretary of Grand Prairie NAACP have a plaque also to present to you. But we have a medal today that has the Reverend Jesse Jackson picture on it. This year's banquet, we dedicated in memory and honor of the late Reverend Jesse Jackson Sr., with all the work that he's done here in America, just setting the ways and paving the ways and just helping everyone. And that's what you get from a Dr. Ed Gray. And so I wanted to present this to you today, giving you the Reverend Jesse Jackson Senior Leadership Community Impact Award is what you will be receiving with the plaque and receiving today for all the work that you have done throughout the Dallas-Fort Worth area. We thank you for your podcast, being able to get our information out there. You've been doing this now for more than, 15, 20 years. If we didn't have your platform, our information would not be able to get out. So I'm really grateful. Not only grateful from the community's perspective, but grateful from the NAACP perspective as well. We also have a medal that have our late treasurer, Tom Smith, Sr. He is a retired colonel from the U.S. Army, and he was the branch treasurer for 20 years, and he recently passed in November. And so the whole time that I've served as Grand Prairie president for the last 20 years and some months, Mr. Smith was the branch treasurer. So I wanted you to have both of these medals because you most definitely was with us our entire 20 years of leadership, being the president of the Grand Prairie NAACP.
Oh, you've been there 20 years now.
20 years
20
now.
Years.
Made 20 years in November of 25.
Wow.
So, and I just want to thank you for being there those whole 20 years. It seems like it just happened yesterday.
Well, it does.
20 years went by fast.
It does. And I really thank you so much for the medals and the plaque as well.
Yes.
And the Jesse Jackson one, I just held that so gently in my hand because I was his bodyguard when he was running for president in '88. So
Awesome.
Myself and Sergeant Arthur Busby and a crew from the crew from SWAT. You know, you didn't know I did that kind of thing.
I didn't. And see how
So
it comes full
I've told
circle.
people that story before, and they went, "Oh, yeah, he did that." I said, "Well, ask him."
Right.
And Busby came on. Yeah, it was one of our best.
Awesome. You know, I had an opportunity up in Washington, D.C. when they was doing the memorial grounds for the statue of Dr. King, I had an honor to be with the Reverend Jesse Jackson to dig the ground, the dirt in the ground where that statue was going to go. And when he came here to pray outside the hospital of the Ebola
Right.
scares in Dallas,
Yep.
I had an opportunity to be there with him and just pray for the family that was affected by that.
He's definitely going to be missed. He's
Yes.
definitely going to be missed. One of these days I get around to writing a book about things I've observed. But yeah, the first time I met Jesse Jackson, I was 16 years old in Washington D.C. working as a congressional intern for Jim Maddox. I used to see people like that all the
Awesome.
time, and that's the reason why I've never been in awe of people now when they go like, "I'm the city councilman" or such as. Okay,
Right.
I've seen lots of them before. I'm the president,
Right.
such and such. Okay.
Right, but I tell people all the time, the real leaders are the leaders that's in the community, like yourself, like myself. It's not
That's
the
true.
elected officials.
That's true.
It's the
You keep
community
everybody on
leaders.
their toes. In
Right,
Grand
it's
Prairie.
the community leaders that get the people elected, and so without people like Dr. Gray, we wouldn't have elected officials. So I'm sure they're grateful, for your support. And then you always have given them a platform to come here and to be able to speak about their platform. And that's how we get our information about the candidates.
That's true because we don't have, I was over at KHVN for a long period of time as well, and Robert Ashley had his community hour that he had, every day, and then I filled in for Robert when he wasn't there. So,
Yes.
we don't have that anymore, and I think that's the
We
importance
don't.
of us. That's why we want you guys to share.
Yes.
I've also told a good friend of mine no later than about 15 minutes ago about how you can go ahead and get our message across. But Amazon and Bezos and all, they don't, unless we fighting each other, they don't care.
Right, that's
We
true.
entertainment for them.
Right, absolutely true. I came up with Willis Johnson and Tom Joyner. And, when KKDA left Grand Prairie, it's almost like the media just went away. And I just thank you for this platform to keep it going and to allow people to be able to come and just share all the wonderful things that they are doing in the community.
Well, we got a lot more work to do. A lot more work to do in Grand Prairie. What's going on in Grand Prairie?
Oh, yeah, let me tell you about Grand Prairie. Oh, my God. Grand Prairie keeps me busy, it keeps me busy. A lot of things is happening. I just think that when we are in leadership position, especially if you're elected official, I want to focus on Grand Prairie just for a little bit. But when you're an elected official, I think elected officials have a responsibility to make sure that your city is being a good neighbor to everyone in the city of Grand Prairie. A couple months ago, I believe there was an issue that happened about the Epic Water Park,
Right.
where an organization event was canceled. Even after they changed the wording on the flyer, the city council, city manager, city attorney, nobody thought to have a conversation with the organizers before they canceled the event. And I don't think that's friendly. I don't think that's been a good neighbor. And I think that going forward, I think that the city
I would've
should
thought they
practice
would've
being a
did
good
that.
neighbor. No, they had no conversation with that family and that organization before they canceled the event. And so I would just hope that being a leader, that even if the governor or the president of the United States, even if they put pressure on the local municipalities, I would just hope that somebody would have enough, courage to stand up to the governor of Texas or the president of the United States and say, hey, this is our city, and be a good neighbor to everyone. And I just hope that they would go back and revisit that and allow that organization and Dr. Knight and Brother Muhammad for them to be able to do something in Grand Prairie. So I'm watching that to see how that unfold, but it didn't sit well with me. And so I'm about, practicing being a good neighbor.
Okay.
And, Grand Prairie has changed. We are majority minority city council over in
Yeah,
Grand
we have
Prairie.
another freeway now, too.
We do, yes. I mean, look at the development on 161. A lot of growth in Grand Prairie.
I'll take little credit for that.
Yes, because you
Okay,
was commissioner during that
was-
time.
that's it.
So you was there,
Yeah.
voting and making things happen. What Grand Prairie looks like today. Yes, and I had an opportunity to follow your footsteps and serve as commissioner as well over in Grand Prairie. And for the time that I served as commissioner, just behind the scene, just watching how the process moved. I'm grateful to learn how that process worked because many of us, we don't attend planning and zoning meetings, so we don't know what's coming in our backyard.
And
So
when they put those signs up, they would just drive right past.
yes, we just drive right by. You see them at the stop sign, and it gives you the notice telling you, hey, we're having a meeting about it. So pay attention to those signs and start coming to planning and zone. Doesn't matter where you live and what state you're watching us from. Make sure you go and attend your planning and zoning meetings. That's where everything is taking place and happening.
That's right, because they can decide any and everything in your neighborhood.
Yes.
And first thing that the zoning commissioners will say, we put a public notice up.
Yes, and then you're a historian.
Yeah.
You're covering a lot of the history
Oh,
over
oh.
in Dallas as well,
I'm covering it over in Grand Prairie as
and
well.
Grand Prairie too.
Like, example, there was a lynching that occurred in Grand Prairie.
Yes.
A lynching that occurred in Grand Prairie at Mountain Creek Lake. Of course, it wasn't Mountain Creek Lake then,
Yes.
because it was a black community that was there.
Right. It was
Reuben Johnson was lynched on the outskirts of Grand Prairie, and it's over there by Antioch.
Yes.
So
And
what?
that was your old Freetown area.
Check it out, folks. Freetown, got it?
Freetown area right there that sits on Mountain Creek Lake. It's right across from the Dallas Baptist College and right down the streets from the Potter's House. But that was the black community.
It's underwater now.
Yeah, my great-grandfather, Frederick Douglass Reed, he actually attended church. Their family lived out there. And the cemetery is still in existence. So the old black cemetery that have some slaves buried out there is still there. That's the
Tombstones
Antioch.
are up there now?
Some of the tombstones are up at Antioch Life Park Cemetery. The Masonic Lodge used to be there before they moved the house over to the Dalworth community.
Right.
But when you look at Grand Prairie, we had slaves coming in from Tennessee, and they were all over Grand Prairie. You have the Bear Creek area of Grand Prairie. You have Frogtown of Grand Prairie. Frogtown sits right there where Oakdale and Beltline is. You had slaves that came there with the George Record plantation group that was there. My father's great-grandmother, Annie Record, has a lot of history there. So when you're looking at pulling up lots and land, when you see the George Record, Annie Record, those I'm a lineage of them. So there was a lot of slaves, a lot of mulattoes. There's a lot of interracial mixing during that time.
That's true.
Yes.
Some of it is not a good.
It
it's
wasn't.
not.
No, it wasn't.
That just is not the way it is.
Right.
Well, on December 26th, we will be back out at Freetown.
Okay.
And it's La Familia Park now. We want to have a historical marketplace there. I want
Awesome.
you to be there for that. But as the president of the Dallas County Justice Initiative, one of the co-founders with Dr. George Keaton, I would like to go ahead and present you with this.
Thank you.
This is the Equal Justice Initiative book on lynching in America. It has most of the lynchings that occurred here,
Thank
such
you.
as the lynching that we talked about
Yes.
before. And
My and this look like this may be a photo.
it looks like the photo of
It's
it.
like this may be the photo. So I was
Mm-hmm.
sharing with Dr. Gray that on my father's side, his grandmother was Iola Reed. And Iola Reed, her father was David Reed. David Reed was a mulatto. And David Reed's mother, her name was Minerva Washington, and Minerva Washington had a brother named Jesse Washington, and Jesse Washington had a son named Jesse Washington Jr., and he was the person that was lynched in Waco that's in this book about lynching in America. So when all of that happened, a lot of the family members, a lot of them left Waco, and some of them went to Canada. So we do family reunions in California and Canada, in Texas, and so this kind of family history is always talked about, and that's why it's important for us to. We're still healing. There was so many lynching in America, and some of this history, it shouldn't be buried.
Shouldn't.
We should talk about it. because it's important for us to know how far we've come and where we've come from in order for us to continue to move forward. So I just thank you and the Dallas County Justice Initiative for shedding light on not only the lynching, but the historical history in Dallas throughout the DFW area.
Thank you, appreciate it. And adding to that point, we're still healing. And one of the ways in which we've healed is I've reached out to people who are descendants of those who were lynched, such as Alan Brooks, who was lynched at downtown Dallas. So we have two historical markers, one at the Old Red Courthouse where he was thrown out of the Old Red Courthouse and then dragged down 6 city blocks to Main and Akron where he was hung from a pole, the Elks Arch pole. I brought Nikki Brooks, who's the granddaughter of Alan Brooks. And when we did the historical marker, his spirit was there within her. And on June 13th, 2 weeks from now, June 13th, Fred Rouse III will be here. Fred Rouse, his grandfather was lynched in Fort Worth, Texas. And they have the Fred Rouse Center in Fort Worth, so he'll be here on June 13th.
Awesome. I'm going to try to make all of those events as well. I tell you that when I hear about the lynching and some of these things, because it really touched my soul, because I can relate to it, because some of them was my direct lineage and my family members. And it's just, I guess I don't see many people like yourself that's taking an interest in even doing anything or saying anything about it. So I'm really grateful that you continue to talk about it and, keep this history alive.
I can't make everything you have, but I try to make most of them, I tell you that.
Yes, most definitely. You have been very supportive with us at our programs over at the Grand Prairie Historical Museum.
Right. One of my phones is in there. We had the phone. We got a historical mark for the Steen Motel.
Yes.
I got that done, and then I saw Mr. Steen. I said, "Man, you got a paid telephone." She said, "Yeah, I know. I got a paid telephone." Yeah. I said, "No, but you don't know what you have. You have a rotary paid telephone."
Yes, and
so the rotary paid telephone is in the Grand Prairie Grand Prairie Historical
in the Historical Museum. That's awesome. What I was gonna share with you. I'm also the president for the South Dalworth Historical Society. I'm the founding president, and I'm usually in the library, just documenting the history, documenting the veterans that served World War I, World War II, Vietnam, career warriors, black soldiers that serve, and they're buried at the Antioch Cemetery. We have more than 120 identified military members that's out at Antioch Life Park Cemetery. And we don't get the support that I feel that those veterans deserve to have. And I've gone all the way to Washington, D.C. on my own dime, speaking with the Veterans Administration, the cemetery part, and what they told me is that because Antioch Life Park Cemetery is a private-owned cemetery, that they can't do anything about it or to help financial. But they did say if there is a veteran's headstone that is cracked, that they will replace the headstone, but they will not pay for the labor to lay the headstone. So I just think the federal government and our elected officials, our congressional representative, our state representative, we must and we have to do right by Antioch Life Park Cemetery. 120 veterans, black veterans that serve this country to pave the way, that raise their right hand to protect and serve for our freedom. We all should come together to make it better for that cemetery. So
they don't have any tombstones?
Some of the veterans don't have headstones out there. Some do. Most of them that we have identified, those have headstones. But the other ones that when you go to the census record and census is saying that they're there,
you don't know
we don't know where we don't know if they've been covered up under the ground. We can't locate them. And then you have one area of lot, which is the old cemetery, to where right now they were over there bulldozing it down and they hit some graves and they had to stop. And that's that open lot. This right here just recently happened within the last 3 weeks. They were bulldozing and hit some graves in that other lot that Mountain Creek Lake now own, and they actually had to stop digging because they hit some graves over there. So that concerns me too, and I'm just hoping that we can get more people aware to go out there.
I like to visit there soon.
Okay, awesome. That way we can stop what's going on. I would love for them to just, dedicate that as a memorial park and put something nice over there.
I was speaking to a filmmaker the other day. Actually, it was Wednesday. He had asked, "Did I know of any other cemeteries?"
That would be.
And I
the
mentioned
one,
I
yes.
mentioned this cemetery. But
Yes,
I did not
a lot
know
of
what you
history.
told me about the 3 weeks ago.
Yes, it just happened 3 weeks ago, and
Okay, so I'll tag them on the storyline.
yes, and
Okay.
and they had to stop digging, and that was the older part, and then also that cemetery was also used for pauper graves. Dallas County also had like a lease there at one particular time, and the pauper graves, people that could not afford to be buried or they didn't have family members, they actually was burying people in one hole there, and so that cemetery again have a lot of history, and I just think the county, because they did a lease, I think everybody should be all on deck to protect the historical part, because we do have a historical marker
Right.
there, but to protect the historical part about Antioch Life Park Cemetery.
Okay,
So we need some more people to join Dr. Ed Gray
Okay.
with this movement.
you got it. This is what I've told people before when they say, "Hey, I'm woke." I don't give a damn about you being woke. I want you to do something once you wake up.
Right.
Last week, I was woke for 2 hours in my bed at 6 o'clock. I didn't get out of bed till 8, but I was woke. That don't mean
Right.
nothing. Once you woke, it's your duty to act. Hey, this is Game 7.
Right, and then on Memorial Day, the city have its own event on Memorial Day, but at Antioch Life Park Cemetery, it's only just a handful of us that still go out to put the flags out to let those black veterans that served World War I, World War II, and Vietnam and Korea, let them know we have not forgotten about them at the old black cemetery. But what was so disheartening is that our black elected officials, nobody came out, but two of our Caucasians elected officials, Councilwoman Georgia Clemson and Councilman Brittany Anderson, they both stopped. They both put flags out before they went to their 10 o'clock event that the city was putting on. And we got to do better as elected official. We shouldn't get to pick and choose when we have, you recognizing veterans on Memorial Day, but you actually have a cemetery that have more than 120 veterans, and you don't even give the respect to stop by and participate. So we got to do better as elected officials.
All right. Got the charge. Anything else you want to add before we go?
We have a Grand Prairie NAACP on June the 7th, which is a Sunday from 1 to 5 o'clock. We will be over at the Bear Creek Park of Grand Prairie. We will have free food, music, game. It's the End Gun Violence Awareness. Wear your orange on that day. So nonprofit organizations, if you have a nonprofit organization and you guys are doing something for End Gun Violence Awareness, we want you to come out. We will have Ellis Valentine, a Texas Rangers former player. He will be out there. Miss Felicia Williams with her nonprofit organization, she will be there too. So and we partner with the Grand Prairie Police Department and the city of Grand Prairie. So we want you to wear your orange on Sunday, June the 7th.
June the 7th.
And come on out and remember the funeral for the
Right.
former council member, Edward Hemphill. His services will be on that Saturday, June the 6th. And Councilman Edward Hemphill, he was our second African-American person to be elected on Grand Prairie City Council, because James Kellum was the first African-American to be elected. So if you're not doing anything, continue to pray for the family, lift the family up in prayer. But his services, again, would be on June the 6th in Grand Prairie, Texas.
And the city will be recognizing Councilman Hemphill as well at some point.
Yes, Mayor Ron Jensen, he mentioned at the last city council meeting that he will be recognizing Councilman Edward Hemphill at his next council meeting. He will have it on the agenda, so he did mention that as well.
Right. I contacted him right after Councilman Hemphill had passed away, and because we had did somewhat similar to Councilman Dubowski when he passed away.
Oh, okay, awesome.
So we got that taken care of, and I wanted to make sure that was done because Mr. Hemphill was a legend in Grand Prairie.
Yes.
And he was a legend for me because I'm younger than he was, but when we were both on the zoning commission, he nominated me to be the chairman of the zoning commission.
Awesome.
And what it meant for me was he had already been there before. He had already been the city councilman before. He was the elder person in this relationship. But he didn't do like a lot of, I won't just, black people alert, just listen to me real quickly. He didn't do like a lot of black people do. I've been in charge, I'll always be in charge, that's it. He said to me, he said, Mr. Gray, you know how he talk, Mr.
Right.
Gray, I'm gonna nominate you to be there. I said, well, you should be there. He said, well, I don't need to be there. I've already been there before.
Right.
I'm gonna nominate you.
Right.
And he nominated me to sit in the zoning commission, to be the chairman of the zoning commission. And that's the beginning of the title, the commish. Because he nominated me to be the chairman of the zoning commission, and that's it. And the zoning board of appeals, even the city council cannot override what they do.
And he was very instrumental in getting the Lone Star Park there. When he was on council, he was very instrumental in bringing the Grand Prairie Lone Star Park there as well. Grew up in Grand Prairie, attended the all-black high school in Grand Prairie, and been knowing me all of my life. And he's a relative too, but been knowing me all my life, and again, just a pillar of our community in Grand Prairie.
All right. That's it.
Thank you.
Hey, thank you for listening to the Commish Radio Show. We will see you guys back next week. Remember, June 6, 2026, the Councilman Edward Hemphill service will be held. Where it's going to be at?
It's going to be at St. John Church.
Okay.
And I believe the services, they start at 11 o'clock. And don't forget to come to Grand Prairie and celebrate the Juneteenth celebration. So on the city calendar, you can go to the city of Grand Prairie, and on there, the Reverend Dr. Preston Dixon, they have the calendar on there for the Juneteenth activities, but it's a 3-day event. It's a great event. So, hey, come to Grand Prairie and celebrate Juneteenth. Celebrate our freedom.
All right, celebrate our freedom. Remember, freedom is not free. You got to fight for it every day. Thank you for listening to the Commish Radio Show. We'll see you guys back later. Take care. Stay waiting. Mike's hot. We're done. Cliff.
All right. You're going to have to let me be your co-host.
Who was that masked man? You mean you don't know? That was no masked man. That was the commish. Saturdays from 5 to 6 p.m. on the Fishbowl Radio Network. Hey, how you doing? This is Ed Gray of the Commish Radio Show. Stay tuned and tune in and be up to speed on everything in social justice, human rights, and politics on the Commish Radio Show, airing every Saturday, 5 p.m. on the Fishbowl Radio Network. Jump in.